Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Q Lads channel. In this live stream, we are going to be watching along with a game that has already started. We were doing the cricket, Pakistan versus Australia. That game ended a lot earlier than anticipated, but we're 30 minutes through. We've had 3 tries for the Brumbies. I was watching it on my other monitor, but the big news here is Tom Banks has got himself a red card for trying to stop Tony Pulu from being able to make his way over the line. So that is a huge moment. The Brumbies currently have got themselves a huge start in this match with the 3 tries, the first of which being scored by Ryan Lonergan only within about a minute and a half in that one, which was absolutely awesome. But Tom Banks, I believe they've said that he gets the red card for stopping it. And also it's a penalty try to the Western Force, I should mention, which does mean now that they will be moving themselves up to 10 points. And I'll have to quickly add that to the list of tries that we have had in this game. So Western Force, they score themselves there first, and they don't even have to kick it at the post. So try scorers, it is going to be a penalty try, I guess, the best way of describing it. No player was involved in that one. There we go. And also we've got there, do you have a team in Super Rugby, says Luke? I do not really. Overall, I'm still pretty much a free-flowing fellow for team-wise, but I do quite enjoy watching the likes of, I love watching New Zealand sides, but then I do enjoy watching the Brumbies, the Reds. Western Force always bring that extra commitment, and now the Fiji and Rua and Moana Pacific added into the competition will also be another one to watch out for. But now Rodney Ioana kicks us back off for this game. So red card, it is a 20-minute red card, and then they will be allowed a replacement. That is some big contact on the 22 here for the Western Force. Pryor goes back across to Isaac Rodder. Good evening, Hamish. Is this your live stream for the night? Or your last live stream for the night, I believe that would be. And it is till we've got tomorrow's ones where we've got about 4 or 5 more, I think it is. But yeah, the last one for tonight, then I've got about 3 hours of editing to get through just to make sure that I do get everything prepared for the next 24 to 48 hours. And also, and there says Paddy Wagon, welcome in. That's a big kick downfield, but the Brumbies currently, Rodney Ioana kicking this one for the touchline. Does end up finding it nicely. But now that they've only got 14 men out on the field for the next 20 minutes or so, this is going to be a huge advantage for the Western Force in a game that has really been, I guess, running away from them in terms of the way that it started. Like I mentioned, they had that try Lonergan in the very first minute of the game almost, then Muirhead and also Banks, who is the one who was red carded. So now he will not be allowed back out onto the field after the 20 minutes is up, which is something that I feel like a red card for 20 minutes is something maybe couple competitions elsewhere could incorporate, because I know that a lot of people were complaining about the Six Nations for that very early red card from the Englishman, or for the Englishman, and then he did end up having a 14-man English versus the Irish, which was actually a very close game. And then, but now Koteka passes it off. Now it's wrestled backwards there for Fergus Lee. Warner picked up nicely though here for the Western Force. Is their number 23, I believe that is Dalston. Now ball on the outside, out to Strawn, drawing past Manata Mateli. He's got pace, he's got power, he's got a Godwin on the inside. And it's going to be another try for the Western Force. They're back in this contest now. Well, okay. Well, I guess this game's going to be less one-sided than first anticipated. But Kyle Godwin scores the try there. And 30 minutes in, they've literally scored 2 tries in pretty much 3 minutes. He had to now put themselves right back into this game. I'm liking it from the Western Force. We're seeing that fight that they bring, but that red card could be absolutely crucial for the Brumbies. But it's a nice pass on the outside. I'm going to have to scratch my back. Don't you hate when you get like an itch on your back and it's really hard to reach? That's what I've got at the moment. I'm probably going to dislocate my shoulder trying to do so. But it's a good cutout pass out to Strom. We saw him 1 minute through. And it is going to be 20 points to now 17. Pryor able to convert. This is going to be a close game by the looks of it here. And it's certainly going to be a bit different to the scoreline that we saw when we started this live stream, which was only 4 minutes ago. The score was 3 points to 20. Now there's a red card for the Brumbies. There's 2 tries in a row scored by the Western Force, both converted, one of which being a penalty try. I didn't have to convert that one, but how quickly a game of rugby can change, eh? And now it's still another 16 minutes. That's going to feel like a long time for the Brumbies as well. This game's been played at a frantic pace, and they have been running around all over the place. Now, Rodney Ioana Once again, we have to kick off this one, and they've just got to try and break this chain at the moment for the Brumbies. They've got to find a way of either getting themselves a penalty or getting the ball into touch, something to stop the Western Force from rolling forward. That's going to be, was it the knock-on? Yes, it was. Now it's going back. It's gone into touch, and now it's going back for the line-out. And whereas everyone says Betty Wagon, it's probably because we did start at 30 minutes into the match that quite a few people, if they were going to be watching, may have gone, he's not doing it, so I'll go to bed. I guess it is relatively late, but it's all right because we do get to have a quiet chat with you guys all about this game and also about the cricket as well. What do you think of the Test series? It's a shame that New Zealand didn't get to play the Netherlands today, but then also if it gets rescheduled, hopefully I can actually do the commentary for that matchup, which will be quite nice. But Jeremy Thrush down on a knee at the moment, get him ready for the scrum. Him and Isaac Rodder are two very capable players. I believe they stole about 8 lineouts off the Fijian Drua, which is an insane number to have. Now, Rodney Orner, can he do here? Tom Wright also in that back line. Lonergan puts the ball in. It's solid. It's gone down in the front row. Looks like maybe considering going off the back. No, instead, it is going to be the first receiver roll now. Straight into the answer. Tom Wright. Kane Kadeka tries to get over the ball. Does lose his footing though. Now, Valentini taken out low for him. Once again, Anstey trying to steal the ball. Iorna now trying to break through. Little flick out the back. Andy Muirhead makes it an easier kick for his kicker. And it was Len Iketel who did have that brilliant little flick out the back pass. And now the Brumbies score again. What is going on for this game? Muirhead scores a second. How many tries are we going to get? There's going to be his second try of the day. And now the Brumbies fire straight back. And also was there a big crowd for New Zealand games? Unfortunately, not really. Overall, what was the red card for? Unfortunately, I think Tom Banks, they did say he went too high. So it was head-on-head contact, which in the rule book says if you haven't really ducked down, you get yourself a red. And the worst thing is he got himself knocked out in the process, Tom Banks. So it really wasn't a good one for him. He ended up with a red card, ended up probably with a concussion. We'll love to see some New Zealand versus Australia test matches. Will be some good banter, I reckon, says Greg. And yeah, it's a shame that the whole series did get cancelled for the ODIs and the T20s because they would have been quite exciting. I see how it did end up going. But Australia winning that last match up against the Pakistanis, which does mean they win the series. That's disappointing. And there, as I said, Danny, I don't think they were allowed a big crowd. I think they had to start small and slowly work their way up for those ones as well, because it's all down to the venues now. So if the venue says they only want 1,000 people, that's how many people the venues get, type thing. Currently, Ryan Lonergan, the captain of the Brumbies, lining up this kick. Only 34 minutes through, like I mentioned, and we're already sitting 27 points to 17. That's a full-time score. We're only halfway through this game and another 45 minutes left to work here for these sides, but it was straight out in front. Ryan Lonergan bangs it over, and 10 points difference now between the two sides. Andy Muirhead, he'll be confident for the hat-trick with so much time left. And Tom Banks, he'll be disappointed with the fact that his night is over. I don't know whether or not he is concussed or whether it is just a bit of a rough contact from there. As Guy has said, Australia, when they certainly did extremely well there, Australia, to be able to bowl out Pakistan. 5 wickets falling in that last session, which was a big one. We did get to see 4 of them, and right when we were starting our live stream was when the 5th one of Babar Azam was actually just going out, which was a huge wicket to get. Muhammad Rizwan, he's another one that was very unlucky with the TMO or the DRS because they didn't end up reviewing it in the end. But both sides were very keen to use those reviews in that last session, the last day, in fact. Now, Ryan Lonergan, he's being told to use it, puts the ball up high. Tom Wright was questionably just a little bit in front, and now it's kicked in behind. Strawn lets it bounce into touch. Risky tactic there, but it works out for them. And now it will be the Western Force who have got this line out throw about 30 metres out from their own line here. And Faliti Kaitu'u going to be lining up this one right. What we're listening to, they are saying just hold up for a second. I think they've left the time on. I think they were just getting the gap set on this one. But now Faliti Kaitu'u trying to get this one straight down the middle. His line out throws are a bit 50-50, but when you're up against someone like the Brumbies, it's very tough to win lineouts 9 times out of 10. And now running it straight sideways, I believe that was the big number 12 there in the form of Bailey Quanzel. Now Strawn. In fact, Jake McIntyre gives it an almighty heave down the field, sits up nicely for Andy Muirhead. And now going for the kick in behind. And also when I watched the Lions series in New Zealand, I swear that the atmosphere felt more like a home game for the Lions. And there says Danny Lewis, yeah, the touring fans are absolutely incredible for that Lions tour. And it's just something that makes the tour so special, which is why when it was in South Africa and they weren't allowed the crowds, it just didn't quite feel the same for like that atmosphere. Oh, Godwin now passing it out the back. I see no Richard Kahui in the starting lineup. Hope he's off the bench because they have got him as the thumbnail. Yes, he is. Okay, we're all right then. That one, but now Strong gets this one, stepping on the inside. Now Ryan Lonergan, he gets him down. It doesn't matter. Strong scores the try, or does he? They're going to be going upstairs. I think no, they said it is a try, and now Strong scores. How many tries? Oh, my camera doesn't like it. How many tries are we going to get to see in this match? Like that's how many? That's the 7th try in the first half. But Strawn is the man who was able to score it there. We're just going to have to keep on adding names, I think. Everyone gets a try. Then Strawn able to do nicely. Gets back up, goes again as he wasn't held. Ryan Lonergan unable to stop him. And Lachlan Lonergan, it was actually Lachlan Lonergan unable to stop him. Ryan Lonergan charged down by Strawn. Jumps all over the ball. Great step there. And then that goal, right? How's your day? And why, Matty? Same old. It is same old as well. I was saying about it the other day as well. You should try and get yourself a brand deal with Waimati with the amount that you do mention it in the chat. I feel like you mention it more than anyone else combined. Also, I feel like if you talk to the council, maybe they'll slip you some money for bringing it up. Currently, Ian Pryor now kicks that one over. 24 points to 27 now in this match. And 1:30 left in this first half. And it's already a full-time scoreline. I don't know what's happened in this game. It just seems like it's going to keep on going and going and going. But Strawn scores himself his first try of today and 2022. 9 minutes left of the Brumbies red card. And the big question is whether or not that will impact them any more. The Western Force have scored 3 tries with that Brumbies red card. But Ryan Lonergan looks like that nose might be giving him a little bit of trouble at the moment. Getting the cotton bud shoved up it. Try and stop it from bleeding too much. That's always hard and good idea. I'm just interested in areas of New Zealand that isn't well known. I put a word in for me. As I says Danny Lewis, they probably, that's the thing. I don't really know the council that well. They'll probably just be like, nah, it's all right. But Ryan Lonergan, he looks like he's dribbling because he did just pour water all over his face, trying to stop that nose from bleeding too much. But that's the thing. When you've got 2 cotton buds up your nose, you get into that situation of not really being able to breathe as smoothly as you'd like to, which just brings a little bit. Has had already 53 points scored. That's not exactly, or 51 points, in fact, it is. It's not exactly a slow pace. Both sides going end to end. Rodney Ouna kicks it high. Taken very nicely there by the Western Force, keeping this ball alive. Now Pryor goes back across field into the hands of Isaac Rodder. Continues. Try and drive his way forward just a little bit more. It's another good carry from it. It was Anstey that time. Also, if you think that I mentioned it too much and it annoys you, you let me know. I'll just stop. As I said, no, I just find it interesting because like no one else mentions it, and then I feel like it's as if I mentioned it one other time how it's as if you're getting slipped $1 or something every time you say it. As a 20-minute Simbin, it is indeed. So they will be back out on the field with a different replacement of Tom Banks a little bit later on. Okay, I'm back, says Paddy Wagon, and there as well. Welcome back, Matt. Matt, I almost called you, but mate is the one that I was after. But currently 5 seconds left, 50 meters out. Ryan Lonergan could actually line it up as a 20-minute Simbin for the red card in Super Rugby. It certainly is. So Tom Banks, he's got another 8 minutes left of his red card, and then they will be able to bring on a replacement, which more than likely will be Jesse Mogg, I would think, and maybe they have a little bit of a reshuffle, possibly put either Muirhead or Tom. In fact, I think they'll go Tom Wright at fullback. I wish, or else I would spam the chat with my Matty and quit my job. Here's Danny Lewis. Who knows, maybe one day they do end up just chucking out money for mentioning it. That's why I feel like doing some sort of little mini rugby documentary thing would be quite fun because no one really knows where it is, which would be interesting because I feel like no one would be searching for it as well at the same time. But now 40 minutes through, 27 for the Brumbies, 24 for the Western Force. And I'll say, well, to be honest, Banks, I couldn't even come back anyway due to getting knocked out. Yeah, so they were going to be missing him anyway. It's just the fact that they weren't able to replace him straight away. This one, but now 15 meters out for the Brumbies. And once again, the rolling maul is going to be set. It's gone down at the front. It's going to be now, okay, no advantage there for them. Around the side, it's going to be Lachlan Lonergan. It's been pretty impressive. He's still crawling along the ground. He's getting dragged around a little bit. It's a penalty there to the Brumbies. I think he's going to argue with it, and he'll say that I didn't do it, but I think it was Isaac Rodder just slowly dragging him along on the ground. And also, we've got other things saying I'm interested in grassroots rugby, but it might be easier for you to document in your hometown if you end up doing it, says Danny Lewis there. Kicked into touch. That will be halftime, ladies and gentlemen, and 27 points to 24. Not exactly a low-scoring one for this first half of the matchup, but it certainly is a lot more fast-paced than we were expecting, a lot more high-scoring than we were expecting, and 27 to 24 already in this match is absolutely huge, and neither side really out of this game, which I think is what makes it so intriguing. When we started the live stream, it was 20 points to the Brumbies, 3 to the Western Force. Now we sit here, or we slouch here, sitting 27 points to the Brumbies and 24 to the Western Force. So since we started doing the commentary with 30 minutes gone in this match, 10 minutes left in the half, we've had 4 tries, one every 2.5 minutes or so has been scored. That is incredibly impressive. Well, that's one, but currently halftime we are sitting, and it is going to be hopefully a very entertaining second half as well. Buddy Franklin from Sydney Swans just reached 1,000 goals. SCG is crazily crowded. Hundreds of fans running down to the field. Celebrate, buddy. While there's 5 minutes left of the game, what a good footy in there as well, says Ed. So one moment, I'll see whether or not they have got it in New Zealand as well. I assume that we've got some AFL games. I will click here and see what the score is currently sitting. Are the Swans at least winning that game? I hope they are. Oh, okay, I found it. Sydney Swans versus Geelong. Oh, yeah, there he is. I think I'm in the wrong section, aren't I? Oh, I just saw a man get tackled onto the ground. What did he do? Okay, so they were warming up, and then I just went in to a random moment, and there was a guy out on the field who got absolutely messed up in the tackle. When they did cinematically go back, it was a man who was on the phone at the time, and then he was line up, ripped down by the collar. And it's a shame that Wallabies are doing poorly. I need to beef up this competition so it can be competitive with the All Blacks in the box. And yeah, the Bledisloe Cup actually only going to be a 2-match series now, which is going to be an interesting one to see how it does end up kind of playing out, whether or not there's a huge difference in the results side of things, or whether it will just be the case of, I guess, just kind of being as it is, with the All Blacks winning quite a few times. Hopefully not, though. Hopefully the Wallabies eventually can get themselves a win in the Bledisloe Cup, just to keep it competitive overall. Like, even if it's just like 1 year and then it goes back to the Kiwis, I wouldn't mind as long as it keeps something in the game for both sides. And also, why do you think the Wallabies are doing so poorly? Been like that 10 years or so. I think it's actually longer than 10 years, unfortunately, for them. But I would say, personally, I think it's just like they've got all the talent. It's just putting it together. And I guess another thing is probably the mentality side overall, because I know that sometimes like the Wallabies should win games, but something gets in their head that stops them from being able to do so, such as, like, I mean, we've seen them blow so many leads, wide cutout passes that just throw away games, and you wonder why it happens. And I think it's something to do with just like that kind of mentality side of it alongside it. But currently just waiting for the second half to get back underway, ladies and gentlemen, for this next one. I've actually got the AFL on my other screen at the moment. Sydney Swans winning that one quite comfortably, 107 to 69. But there are plenty of matches that are taking place tomorrow. I just realized my phone is missing. Where did my phone go? Oh, it's in my pocket. There you go. I'm just going to check what we got on tomorrow. Hi, says Xavier Brown. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing well. What did you think of the Rebels game? Did you feel it was a good performance in the end, or do you think that you would still like to see them improve just a little bit more in the upcoming ones? But at the moment, the cheekbone of Tom Banks got well and truly rattled, unfortunately for him. And also, do all good players go to league in NRL? They do have quite a few that go over the way of the NRL. And well, to be honest, they best books twice in a row. Or they beat Box twice last year. So that's true. They did manage to beat the Springboks very nicely as well for the Wallabies. And I think they were on the up last year. They really did nicely and got a 10s tournament first game at 9 a.m. And there says Xavier Brown. So hopefully it does end up going well for you, mate. Currently, I believe it's pouring down earlier on in the day for this game. And like they're saying, it's a crazy start to this game. 3 tries for the Brumbies, followed by 3 tries in the end by the Western Force. And another try for the Brumbies, but they've got a red card. And that will be the big one that they will be trying to weigh out. And then after that that red card is gone, because I believe they've got another 7 minutes or so. And after that, they will be able to replace someone. And also we have got the Hamish Pakistan fans and players as crying. And there says Ryan, although you'd have to ask the question as well, could they have won it in earlier stages of that series if they had put down their foot rather than going at 2.5 as their run rate? And it's a brutal question to ask, but it's one that's on a lot of people's minds of could they have done it if they had gone a little bit more aggressive at times rather than getting pinned down and just going for draws. And also we've got that, so they're actually up there. And this is Paddy Wagon, and also we've got that. It's interesting that New Zealand gets accused of pinchy players from the islands. And this is Danny, and also Rebels did play well, but Fiji broke out defence too easy. Yeah, they just looked impressive, didn't they, the Fijian draw? But the Rebels, they had some very nice moves as well. I was expecting Waihu to score, but Kobus Eloff scoring himself a try. And also what a great game, says Brandon. Well, that one as well. Yeah, certainly a high-scoring one between these two sides for the early stages of this match. Like, that's the thing. It feels so weird saying early stages of this match when we've already had a total of 51 points. Like, that's so strange to me being able to say that it's only halfway through and we've already had a half century of points on the board. So hopefully, I mean, fingers crossed it goes all right. And we do get to see a few more big moments in the second half, maybe a few more tries as well. No one would be complaining about those ones if that was the case. I wouldn't think so. Hopefully that is the case. We do get to see, but we will go like this. And we will go like this as well. I'm just checking to see what the schedule is looking like for a while. Why did Hodge get sent off? I thought he looked like he did nothing. So I believe it was because in the replay that we got to see, he had his hands down on the ground before jumping onto the ball. So I believe they were saying that because he had his hands down and then he went up onto the ball, he actually ended up slowing it down as well in the process. So unfortunately, that man has had a lot of cards this year, but I think he went all right other than that. His kicking game seemed relatively solid for himself, Reese Hodge, I should say. But yeah, it was interesting. I'm doing 3 live stream tomorrow. And there says Brandon. And yeah, we got a few ourselves at this stage. What we got. So Saturday, it is going to be what we got here. So we've got the first match that we are covering is Highlanders versus Blues at 4:35, followed by the game at 7:05, Chiefs versus Crusaders, followed by the match after that, Reds versus Waratahs. And then we have also got either Stormers versus Ulster or the IPL. And then the IPL actually overlaps with 2 games of the URC, but we might get in Bulls versus Dragons at the end of that if we do still have a voice. And then Connacht versus Leinster maybe at the end if the voice is still going. But no guarantees at this stage, and also because he isn't good no more. And there says Betty Wagon. Well, that one is, oh, he has his moments. He's just pretty unlucky with some of the cards that he has received this year. And he is up against it at a side that's slowly starting to find a little bit of momentum, it seems. That one. At the moment, only 2 minutes left of the AFL for the match between the Sydney Swans and the Geelong Cats, and also George. And there as well says Brandon, although we've got George joining me for the NRL, will be when he is popping in. And George on Sunday, exactly right. If he is not working, that is. If anything changes and it's a nice day, he probably will have to work. But if it's not a nice day and it looks like it is going to be relatively overcast and wet, should be around. I'm just going to check the weather to see what it is sitting at for that Sunday. Yeah, so Sunday we are looking at, once it loads, it's 1 a.m. at the moment here in New Zealand, so only one more half of rugby for the night. Feels weird. All right, it doesn't know what the temperature is where I'm from, which is very weird. Extremely weird. Okay, we'll go up the road a little bit if it's not going to play the game. So currently Sunday is supposed to be 40% chance of rain just up the road. So I would assume more than likely that's very similar here, which may mean we get to do a little bit of something in there as well. But it's nicely done at the moment by the Brumbies to get themselves such a big lead, but then nicely done by the Western Force to fight back in such emphatic fashion. Currently, we are getting extremely close to the second half, getting back underway. But the Fijian drawer, they brought up, well, in fact, sorry, it was the Moana Pacifica side brought up their first win. Then another first win that we did get to see was Moana Pacifica. Not just them, I just said them. And then other than that, it was the first win for the Rebels, which means now the Highlanders are the only side in the competition who are yet to get themselves a win. And the Brumbies are the only team in the competition who are yet to lose a game. And yeah, I'm going to say a bad thing in there, says Brandon. I mean, it's one of those ones. I can't really help what the weather does, though. At the end of the day, if it's nice, he has to work. That's just kind of the part of being a contractor overall. But if you do end up seeing a rainy day, then the NRL should be okay for us to be able to do. They are just showing there the Moana Pacifica victory and Golden Point, 24 points to 19 up against the Hurricanes, which was a huge win for them here. I'm currently just waiting for the second half to get back underway. It's always a long break in Australia for halftime, and then also kind of getting the match underway. It's normally a little bit later than anticipated there as well. But do let me know the final score you think the match will be for this one. I think the Brumbies, they're going to win by a little bit, and Brandon, and you be in trouble there as well. Says it Paddy for that one as well. But it was, I mean, it's probably about as hectic of a first half as we've seen in Super Rugby. I watched it while doing the game of cricket between Pakistan and Australia as well. And also we have got there, Kiwi lads, do you want to do a postcard? A postcard as in like a postcard as in like a little Christmas one. And also hashtag talk about that game. And there says Betty, and also I heard someone has a giraffe called Kevin for sale. Could it be John Key? And there's us says the goods. I didn't realize you could buy giraffes in New Zealand, but if you could, that would be quite a bit of fun. Although it depends, does the giraffe have a ponytail? Because if it does, it was probably John Key's. Overall, because he likes yanking those from what I've heard. That's the thing. I don't know what animals you are and aren't allowed. Like, surely you're allowed, like, I know you're allowed lambs and chickens and all sorts, but monkeys, you're not allowed in New Zealand, I wouldn't think. Snakes is another one. Spiders is questionable, I guess, depending on the type of spider. If it's a tarantula, you probably can't, but you're allowed to eat tarantulas if they're, like, coated in chocolate and dead. I don't know what the logic behind that one is. But the Sydney Swans winning their game of the AFL 107-77 over the Geelong Cats there. So a pretty impressive performance. And the 1,000th, I believe, goal for that man. They are showing on the field at the moment, but currently just waiting for the second half to get back underway. And I swear it is a lot longer in the Australia game than it is for the New Zealand one. And also know, like what I did with you know who, we can like weekly, a podcast, not a postcard. Okay, that makes more sense. So I thought you were saying about a postcard, and I thought we were going to like pose with some Santa hats and whatnot and go like this for Christmas or Easter. But yeah, I don't know whether or not I do have enough time, unfortunately, to be able to squeeze in a podcast each week at this stage. Like even the Rugby Down Under podcast, when we were doing that, like that was probably a less hectic time of the year. But now that both of us are very busy, I don't think that is happening anymore, unfortunately. And also walks in, I'm confused. And there's a Jay. Hello, Jay. We're doing some postcards / podcasts as well. But this game was 20 points to 3, Jay, when we started our live stream. And now it's 27-24. And it's all kind of changing quite drastically in a hurry for this matchup. And also, so that's a no. And the other says, Jay, yeah, probably not at this stage, just because, like, we've talked about me and George doing some sort of weekly rugby thing, and we still haven't got around to it just because there's no time left in the week. Like, other than me sleeping and streaming and editing, I don't get any time off, unfortunately. I don't know what's happening too. And there's says Patty Wagon. I was like, hey, Patty. Says Jay for that one. I've got a Bunnings warehouse here. This has been a very long halftime break. Is someone like just getting a full body massage or something? And Swans winning by 30 points over Cats. A great win at night for the Swans supporters. And there says Ed. Was it by 30 or by, yeah, it was. It was a good one. It was a good one for that one. Currently still waiting for the second half. I feel like if I put on a bucket hat, that might speed them up a little bit. What bucket hat should we have? We'll put the, oh yeah, no, they're coming back. That's all I had to do. I had to touch a bucket hat and now they're ready to go for another match. Oh no, they're still in the changing rooms. Get out there, boys. You don't need 5 years All right. They're about to make their way back out there for the Brumbies in the Force. They did run quite a bit in the first half, so I feel like both teams were just waiting as long as physically possible until they pretty much shepherded out onto the field. But time in the opposition 22, double for the Brumbies, 2 minutes compared to the 1 minute of the Western Force. Also, quite a few line breaks for both sides. I'm very busy, so a no for me too. And then says Brandon, that's all right. Overall, I accept it. And also currently 6.5 minutes left. And also that finally says Patty, was it just me or was that an extremely long halftime break? Like, if we work on the theory, I started the live stream at about 28 minutes into the game. There was probably about 15 minutes that were, I felt like the end of the game now. And there says Patty, yeah, it took a while, but now they're back out there, which is good. And now we've got the second half's probably going to fly by. Definitely if we have as many tries as we did have in that first half also. Currently 6.5 minutes left now. And also, yeah, it's a no from me too. I'm not busy. It's just a flat out no. And there says Jay, I feel like a podcast with Jay and George would be a case of how long till we get cancelled. I feel like you agree with that, Jay. Like you and George in a room together, like that would be dangerous. As I check me update when you feel like you can do it. And yeah, as I says Brandon, also we've got the what's a no. And yeah, that is for the new podcast weekly for this stage with me and Brandon at this stage. But maybe one day we can try and do a podcast. But yeah, I know that George, like after we kind of heard nothing about the Rugby Down Under podcast, we decided that we would try and possibly look at getting another one going just to keep their rugby momentum going, seeing as it's like just specially rugby. But nah, we haven't really had the time. And also he wouldn't be available each week to be able to film it is the other side of it as well. Jerome Brown, nice little wrap around. And let's give it a crack. Sounds like a challenge, says Jay. Oh, it wouldn't take long. I feel like it would be one. I got Jay and George is a bad mix as well. It certainly is. I remember, we haven't released it as well. We met an Irishman, like one of the only times we went on Omegle, we met an Irishman and we actually did a podcast with him. We did 2 of them in the end. We never released them because it was just way too offensive. And I don't think I'd even show them. They're on a hard drive somewhere, but, probably one that will never end up surfacing at this stage. But now Andy Muir here trying to go straight through that gap, nicely run forward for himself, and he's been dangerous throughout this matchup. Now, Lena Cattell, in fact, it was some morning now off to Jerome Brown, finds the pass. No, instead hangs on to it for Jerome Brown rather than giving it off to Rodney Iona. Still going to be available for them, Ryan Lonergan. Fires the ball back across, and I wonder what Italy will be doing in 240 days. They will not be Equator. And yeah, it's going to be kicked into touch 5 meters out from the line, and now the Western Force will be under pressure. Meet George in the same room. F after F after F. And there as well says Brandon. Currently, it's going to be 5 meters out from the line for Feliti Kaitu'u. Now going to have the line out throw. It's been shepherded into the middle. Referee trying to line him up. There we go. And that's no surprise. When you've done one with an Irishman, that's for sure. Cheers, Patty. But yeah, it was very much so like beforehand, we were like, right, what are topics we can't talk about? And I think every single one of them was mentioned at some point throughout it by either George or that guy as well. Okay, one too many Brumbies players, so they get the free kick there for the Western Force for just getting the numbers wrong. That's something that we don't really see too often in rugby. Okay, they've actually just said that was the most points ever between 2 Australian Super Rugby teams in a first half. So that just tells you how impressive of a half it was there between the two sides. The previous best was 47. They upped it by 4 points. And then as well, they also do one with a drunk Irishman. This guy wasn't drunk. He was just very much so, he was quite funny. Like, it's not a bad podcast in terms of, like, there was quite good banter in it. It's just more of the case of it would take an insane amount of editing to get everything out of there that was considered not all right. Definitely in nowadays as well. Like, it was probably all right a few years ago, but now, like, even swearing at times is questionable now, I think. But currently now only a few meters out from the 40-meter line here for the Brumbies. Nick Frost drops his head, tries to get himself a little bit further up the field. It's going to be so important that the subs get it right in this matchup. Nice bit of footwork there from the big player from the Brumbies. Now continuing to go on the outside. Now Rob Valentini, no, doesn't find his hands. Picked off by Manasa Mataeli. He's going to score the try, and the interception is good. And now the Western Force in the form of Manasa Mataeli scores the try. This game is insane. It's the best way of describing it. We have 4 tries for the Western Force, 4 tries for the Brumbies. And also, what has gone soft, just talking and banter. And there, as I says, Batty Wagon, but that is brilliantly done. It was almost, I mean, if Rob Valentini got that in his hands, it was a try down the other end. Have you been to Perth? Excuse me. Pardon me there. I feel like that was like my hiccup that I was going to hiccup earlier on, and I didn't end up doing it. And then I just had ear trapped in my cranium/throat. But overall, Perth, I think I've only been maybe a little bit to the airport. I think I forced bash, and there was a forced smash in there, says Jay, but they're doing very nicely for themselves. But yeah, I think I was close to Western Australia for one of my trips, but I never have been to Western Australia. So maybe that's an option. Never been to Perth. Wait, don't you live in? Where do you live? Jay, if I did go to Perth, would you show me around, or would you end up probably getting us in trouble for something? Like, that's the thing. George and Jay road trip, dangerous once again. Anything that combines the two of yous, probably not very PG. Now, going over there, nicely done by Ian Pryor. And now the score is sitting at 31 points to the Western Force and 27 to the Brumbies there. But it was just plucked out there very nicely. We've got 165 tries so far there. Do you want me to update you about, I want to get back, I want you on my YouTube channel so much. People were saying about Plants vs. Zombies. And this is Brandon. It's probably a little bit similar to the podcast at the moment, how we haven't really had time to film videos for our channel, let alone like other ones. I do want to get some collaborations going at some stage in the future, though. I was at this rugby game once, and someone just yelled out to the team that was losing, "Get the toilet, get the toilet, get the toilet." What does that mean? I wonder, in a rugby game. Don't know. And also, we've got the Kiwi Lads Aussie road trip in there. Yeah, I'll show you around. It'll be an adventure you will never forget. I might never get out of it, either, depending on how it goes. Now, Kyle Godwin out the back line here for the Western Force. No, God. And there's Paddy Wagon, but still going to be available for the Force. Pryor goes back across here now. Now, McIntyre off to Quinzel. Felici Clayton. Running Martha Alley. Stepping nicely on the inside. He's been having a very good game. Yeah, up to this point, Tom Wright on the ball. Oh, he didn't get the turnover. That was extremely close. Okay, now they decide that he got the turnover. Fair enough. They waited very late before they did end up awarding it. And also, check me update. But quick question, boo. Boo. As a Hamish versus Kangaroo boxing fight, I feel like the Kangaroo will win every day of the week because I wouldn't be able to punch an animal. Plain and simple. Like, yeah, Kangaroo would just absolutely kick me buttocks. Just throwing the lefts and the rights. It'd give you a kick to the gut as well, and you just get bent down. Because if it gets you in the liver, you're going to sleep. Well, not really to sleep, but your just body is going to slip and slide. And Matt Lowlife is here. It's AC Low. As I welcome into the live stream, mate. Hope you are doing well. But Jesse Mogg now out on the field. That is for Tom Banks. That is the replacement of the red card. So my guess is Jesse Mogg goes out to the wing, and probably Tom Wright slots back to fullback, if I had to guess. But I could be wrong. Probably wrong. Always wrong. And it was a high-scoring game. It is the highest-scoring game of Super Rugby for a first half of Super Rugby between two Australian sides. And question, what is the best fish you got? Or what is the best fish you got? As in, like, the fish that I've caught. Assuming you never know until you try, mate. And they said Danny Lewis, no, I don't think I'd be too keen to punch an animal. I feel like one of those ones probably wouldn't ever go for it. But now, Pete Samu, big man, dragged down only a couple meters short of the line now. Now, straight off to Scott Seo. The front foot is certainly in favour of the Brumbies now. And also, Jack, good game and said hi as well. Welcome into the live stream, mate. Jesse Mogg, wide cutout pass, inside ball, off to Muir, looking for the hat trick. He is dragged down nicely, though. I'm looking around for Rob Valentini. Where is he? There he is. I can see us here from a mile away. He's got the ball now. Rob Valentini dragged down there. And now Ryan Lonergan reaches out. It's another try, or is it? Also, my name is Jack. And there's also welcome in, Jack. Hope you're doing well, mate. And also, Rizzler, okay, it's the Cassowaries that you got to worry about. And also, will the Force steal the win? It's hard to tell, but that is going to be another try to the Brumbies. And it's actually going to be, I believe, Big Nick Frost. It's the man who was able to get over the line for that one. And we will go like this and like this. There we go. We've got another try. This is, I don't know what the highest scoring Super Rugby game ever is. These two are trying to work toward it. It's probably the closest highest scoring Super Rugby game a little bit, just as we currently sit. We're only 48 minutes through. And it's going to be another try. And this time it's Nick Frost. It was cool, calm, and collected, scored that try. And we'll go like that. And we will go like that. And also, what's a cassowary? And it's a type of animal, I believe. I'm not too sure. It depends on which human. And there's Matt. And also thoughts on the Wallaby squad camp. I do see that I know a few names that people say should have gotten in there, but at the end of the day, I think it's still going to be a relatively strong one for the Wallabies. And also such a good game, isn't it? There it says Batty Wagon for that one. So punch a human, you are punching at an animal. I haven't punched anyone though. So plain and simple. Like, even if someone, like, that's the thing. I feel like I would never punch someone unless they probably punched me repeatedly, and that's probably more out of self-defense than anything. Like, I don't see myself as someone who would be able to go around and punch people purely because of the fact that, like, my problem would be if I punch someone, then I'd have to check if they're all right, and then they'd just cheap shot me. Also, I lost for a rugby today, and there's his Brandon. Also, it's a massive flightless Australian bird, and there with a big knob thing on its top of its head. There you go. Now, currently, the Brumbies got this ball 15 minutes into this game. There was a weird way of saying minutes, but it's going to be kicked high. And also, why, Brendan? And there it says Matt Lowlife. That one, but it's gone high. Still 30 minutes left in this fixture. What's the score margin for this match? I have no idea, because the Brumbies were ahead by 17, and now they're only ahead by 3. So that has changed big time. And also, we have got there. Would you fight a drop beer? Probably not. Overall, I just try and avoid anywhere with drop beers. And who do you go for, lad? And SCZ in this game, I mean, it's nice seeing an underdog story for the Western Force, purely because the Brumbies are the only undefeated side in this competition. So be interesting. And also, Amish versus Cassowary it is. And also Friday night footy, says Jack. You got to love it. And that's the thing. We haven't just got Friday night footy. We've also got the Saturday night. Sunday, we've got the NRL as well. And that will be on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel. So be sure to check that out. It is the pinned comment. Also, and do you say, what about yes such? And there says Brandon. It's a tricky question. Do you say why about yes such? You might have to give me a few more clues, Brandon, there, and rate both teams' performances. I mean, defense for both sides has been a bit shocking, but currently, like, the attack has been phenomenal for them both as well. So I would go with Brumbies probably. To be honest, if you don't count the defense, Brumbies get a 9, Western Force get an 8. This one, and also we've got there 3 points. It is. And there, it is raining, says Jack, for that one. So, yeah, a little bit stormy, I believe, for this game. I know that the AFL was also raining quite heavily earlier on. Australia still seemed to be getting quite a few showers that last little while. Best try of the match, I'd say it's Tom Banks's, where he did end up running way down the wing. But also, I mean, an interception one is always very nice. Christian Hamish, what is your favourite fish? You got everything. I mean, I just enjoy a classic old, probably elephant fish. Or nothing fancy, just literally if it's got batter on it, I'll eat it. Also, is it raining in Perth? There was a little bit of rain earlier on. I'm not too sure whether or not it is now, though, but there was a little bit slippery or a little bit of rain in the earlier stages. And also, who's going to score the next try? I'd say it's probably going to be the Brumbies, if I had to pick more specifically. Rob Valentini and Fish Fingers Birdseye. And as SJ, and also greetings from Buenos Aires. Fellas, as well, says Matt Lolo. So welcome. And what time is it at the moment? And Argentina, do let me know. And also, do you reckon it's a solid red card as well, says Ed. So it's a tricky one because, like, the rules pretty much say if it's high, you got to, like, go down. Now it's going to be Tom Banks looking for the offload backwards. Going to be nicely taken by Darcy Swain, trying to link up with someone else. Wasn't quite able to do so. Greg Holmes fighting hard for the ball, unable to get the turnover. Sits up now for Scott Sear up to the 22 and Feliti Kaitu. And there's a very impressive player, that is for sure, for the Western Force. Now the back line, Jesse Mogg, one more, Jerome Brown goes out to Rob Valentini, once again dragged down. And you wonder, did Jerome Brown get the timing right of that pass? Me, I'm going to score there as well. Now going back across to Darcy Swain, Big Pollard getting a go, fish and chips. And there's and also, I didn't know what fish you were eating with your fish and chips. And I think that was one earlier on for the rugby, wasn't it? I don't know whether or not it was a Super Rugby one. Rodney on an inside ball. Andy Muir gets his hat trick. And nicely done. 53 minutes gone. And he's already got 3 tries. Like, I don't think they'll be taking him off unless, of course, they do just want to maybe rest him. But that's another try there for the Brumbies. Now, Muirhead bringing up the hat trick and good in there. Says Jack, and Matt is Googling the time. He'll be back in a few minutes. And also, what you say, Tom Banks. Is he playing again? Sorry, I meant Tom Wright if I did end up saying Tom Banks, but we were saying about that red card. Oh, no, sorry, that was his try. When he did score his try earlier on, it was an impressive one, but then did end up with a red card. Nice ball on the inside from Rodney Horner, though. Be able to line that up beautifully, and the Brumbies now have an 8-point lead here at this point in time. Now, Andy Muirhead, he's been in form for this matchup. 3 tries already. And like I mentioned, there's still 26 minutes left. There's a chance that he gets himself 1 or 2 more. And Andrew got hot seat in there as well. So here's Ed for that one currently. Now, Andy Muirhead, first Brumbies hat trick versus Force since David Pocock. Geez, that's a while. So it's been that long. David Pocock is now a politician, I believe. You need to go to Japan and eat some different fish. And I mean, we have different fish here. I just don't mind the stock standard, overall. I have fish and chips, tasty food. And this is Jack, yeah. Gotta love myself some fish and chips. I did end up recently discovering the donuts from the local fish and chip shop are actually quite nice as well, which is always a benefit. But now, Ryan Lonergan kicks it from the touchline. Just hits a post square on, and it comes back out. I was going to you, Hamish Far Cry 6 is free with Xbox Gold. Do I get? I mean, if it's free, you might as well. Even if you don't play it, like if you download it now / purchase it for free, then you can download it at a later date if you do want to play it. So I would recommend doing that if it is the free game with gold or anything along those lines, just because it's pretty much a free game that you may use one day. Rob Valentini dropping that ball does end up going straight through his hand. And now Western Force, they are going to have themselves the scrum feed. Who's that? That's number 3 for this one. That was Kortai. And also, what is the time? Or what time is it on Perth as well, says Jack. So for this game, it is local time of 8:23 p.m., whereas here in New Zealand, we have got sitting at 1:23 p.m., so they are 5 hours behind us. And I got says Betty, and also question me, Hamish, I read that one, and also how many tries left before full time, do you reckon? I'd say another 3, to be honest. They just don't seem to be able to stop anyone. At what's current time in New Zealand, Nightbro in New Zealand, it is currently sitting at 1:23 a.m. I done a muscle in my arm at 8:23, says Jay, for the time in Perth there. And also 1 a.m. says Jack. Yeah, so we are sitting, 1 a.m. here in New Zealand, so a relatively late night, I guess. But it's still not too bad overall for a bit of rugby. A little bit too much movement there, and it's going to be another scrum reset here. I don't think either side will mind this because it slows down the game just a little bit more and do it, say it is over. And there it says Brandon. And also we got there 12:24 a.m. in Fiji. Says Tirana Marie. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. So you guys are back to being an hour behind. At one stage, Fiji and New Zealand were the same, weren't they? But now it's changed. And time zones are very tricky for me to remember, I guess. Are all Aussie Force fans getting roller coaster ride on their seat from watching this rugby game? Nice purchased. And there's RCZ, and also did Australia win? They did indeed. They were able to win by 115 or so runs after the stream. Will you sleep? Or you have will do some work. So I've still got quite a bit to do to prepare for tomorrow. So I would say more than likely this stream will finish at 1:50. I'll probably end up cooking some food for my tea. And then after that, I'll probably end up staying up till about, honestly, probably 5:30, 6 a.m., getting everything done that I need to, going back to sleep, waking up for the cricket tomorrow, the rugby tomorrow, 3 games in a row. And then from there, going into our IPL and whatnot. I work at Mixiclay. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. But now Queensville kicking this one for the touchline. The Western Force, they want a rolling ball try. Can they get it, though? That's probably the big question on all of the Western Force supporters' minds at HBF Park. It's a great location for a bit of rugby. And they've certainly had their money's worth. I mean, you're looking at probably paying $1 per try you've seen if you go to that ground. Like, that's how many tries we've had in this game. As you can see down the bottom, I'm glad I only did the last names, or else it would have been very much so very full 6 tries for the Brumbies, now going for the rolling maul. Feliti Kaitu, who's got this one at the back. I believe it's actually in the hands of the number 3 here for the Western Force, which will be Santiago Marrano. Now rolling their way closer and closer, still on their feet, fighting for every inch that they can get. Now around the side, Jeremy Thrush close to being able to make it over the line. Still going to be available for them now. Santiago Marrano drops. Mum hasn't prepared you dinner. Oh, your dinner. You'll prepare yourself. That's not good in there, says Coding. I mean, it's not her job to cook for me, though. I am 22. So at the end of the day, like, I just end up making my own thing. And it sounds like a new stream of COVID in there, a Mexican restaurant. And there is that. Also, do I say on my Xbox is I don't buy it? And there, or do it say on my Xbox is I don't buy it? So, yeah, I guess if you did get it for free, you should be able to still download it again. But now it's going to be 5 meters out here for the Western Force, and it looks like they may end up going for that line out once again now. Kicking it for the touchline from Bailey Quinzel. Right. Where are they going to be? Jack lives in Riccarton, Christchurch. Fair enough. So you're just up the road from myself. Geez, a little bit of a wrestle there between Jerome Brown. Oh, he didn't punch him, did he? Don't think so. It looked close to a punch. And I was, how old are you, Jack? And where are you from? Okay, so Jack is from Riccarton. I don't know his age, though. So I'm now passing the ball off the back. Feliti Kaitu running sideways. Manasa Mateeli bumps off the tackle. Scores it between the posts, and that is 60 minutes in, and it's another try. Are either of these sides going to stop anyone at this stage? But Manasa Mateeli, he picks up his second try of the match now. So you're going to get a hat trick as well. I like that. And also Christchurch, New Zealand, says Jack. Well, that one, and also 22. But it's nicely done. Once again, they just continue to score tries. Both of these sides, we're going to have 100 points in this game if it continues this way. And Jack, who it is, or was it you who went up that hill with Jill? An 100-point game, says Betty. I think it's on the cards. To be honest, we've already had 77 points with a kick to come. It's a nice, easy one. And that actually is counted in there. That one's gone straight over. So, yeah, 77 points, only another 4 tries, 22 years old. And there's us, says Jack. Manasa Mateeli in 2022, he has got 3 tries. And also, which will win, says Coding. It's still a pick'em game. And how much does it cost a ticket for a Super Rugby match? I know that it's cheaper in Australia, I believe, than in New Zealand. But, I mean, you can probably get it for like less than $20 or something like that, depending on where you're sitting. So, like, they're almost getting a try per dollar that they've spent on their tickets at this ground, which is absolutely insane. 77 points in 61 minutes. They have just done the maths for it as well, but now going to be taking this one nicely for the Western Force. They kick it downfield for touch. Neither of the 2 players who I thought we were going to score tries have scored tries, I'll bet, for the Brumbies. And as I says, Matt, and also we've got that Far Cry 6 out of play. So pretty much once it is downloaded, you do have to finish downloading it first, though. And then it's pretty much an open world survival game where you've got to try and pretty much survive and also take over the area that have, I guess, gone to the bad guys, you could say. And it's my uncle's restaurant. And there's us, says Jack. Nicely done. Early jump is the call there. Oh, early jump is something I haven't seen very often for a free kick, but Isaac Roddy jumped too early, they're saying. Also, Force, says Jack there. And the Force to win. Oh, yeah, we will have to wait and see. Only 1 point difference, so it seems like it could easily go either way in this game. Which means it probably comes down to the benches, to be fair. And both sides, they've got some very good players come off the bench. I'm looking at the experience of someone like a Richard Kahui. Also, Greg Holmes, he's very experienced himself. Nick White for the Brumbies, going to be an important factor for them later on in this game. And also probably Tom Hooper. It's another player, or Rory Scott, one of those two. And the 4-back that's dropped by Ryan Lonergan. The pressure starting to get to him. Oh, they're playing advantage. But they haven't heard the whistle. Tell you what, that's unlucky. Because there should have been an advantage there, I would have thought. Was they forced to win? Okay, Lonergan knocked it on into the player in front of him in the scrum, so it did actually count as... Yeah, okay, so that was... Yeah, he'd already blown the whistle as well, Angus Gardner said, for that one. But currently now 64 minutes through, and also has their Mexican food at your hometown. There is not for myself. We don't even really have anywhere other than, I guess, we got an Indian place, maybe Turkish, but I don't know whether or not they're still up and running, and also Chinese, which is also doubling as a fish and chip shop. So not a huge amount of selection, I guess you could say. And wow, and this is John, and I assume that's looking at the score. Yep, high scoring game between these two sides. And it was the highest scoring game for a first half of Super Rugby for two Australian sides going head to head. And that's ever, with a total of, I believe it was 51 points, beating the previous record of 47. So both sides just scoring for fun. And the best thing is, it's not just one team scoring. Both sides are getting their little juggles in this one, which does mean that maybe we get to see a very close finish as well. Yes, the score says John. Yes, certainly not the game that we were expecting between these two sides. 38 points to 39, 77 points already. Still 15 minutes left. That's another few tries. And at the 100 could be on the cards here. The ball's going to be available at the back. No, and nicely there was Isaac Fines. Now kicks it in behind Jack McIntyre. Finding plenty of space there. Sits up for Jesse Mogg now. Will look to return fire with a big boot of his own. It's gone almost straight up in the air. Not the kick he would have been after, but he's knocked it back onto his side now. Rory Scott, big man, running his way forward. I believe that was Tom Hooper. Now Frost out to Muirhead, Jerome Brown, and also another nail-biting game. Does seem like the case, and also bad defense or better offense. I'd say it's a combination of both. And do you live in the North Island or South? And yes, I am in the South Island, a few hours south of Christchurch as well. Now Jesse Mogg going for the kick in behind, seeing a bit of space. Manasa Mataeli gonna have to wait for this one. It does go into the in-goal area, kicks it into touch, and now it will be the line-out throw for the Brumbies once again now. Currently, both sides will feel like they've been in a full battle, 77 points. Certainly is high scoring between these two sides. But yeah, pretty much, I would say we've still got another 2 or 3 tries left in this one, but that looks like Kuatai now going off the field. Some sort of knee injury possibly, and also just put in a good shift. But Tom Ross out there now, and also Jack. Do you have, I should be able to say this. Oh, I can't remember how to pronounce that, unfortunately. No, I can't think of it, unfortunately. And also, we've got like a first half basketball game as well. Yes, it is. And also, what's the possession percentage? It's been actually very 50-50 in this game. Bouncing onto the ball there. Kane Kateka doing nicely to be able to get that ball back for a side. Now Isaac Fines fires it back. I believe Andrew Reddy also, that was a cheap shot on the ground. He's got to be careful doing it like that, or else he might end up in the penalty. How about Pacifica? And they were phenomenal in their matchup. And also we've got there Timaru fell a little bit more south of there, but somewhere in that same South Canterbury region. He sends some churros to Hamish's house. And then let's go, man. Early morning Super Rugby says SpongeBob Trust Betty Wagon. We got to love it. As okay, says Jack. And also, we have got some churros to my house. I've never actually had a churro. Fun fact. Okay, into the player in front of him, off the foot. So I believe it's an accidental offside. And who's going to score the next try? I think just to make this one a bit more seesawish, I think it could be the Western Force. And also over there, I can tell you which down low. And there's us, says Danny also, yeah. And also, will we see another card? To be honest, they haven't actually gone back to check it. If it was up to me, I would have had another look at it, and I could have seen it being a card. Andrew Reddy kind of just led like that onto the ground, dropping into him. So, yeah, I think they're going to be all right. No more cards just for now. But the bonus point now still in favour of the Force for being able to keep themselves within the 7, although that can easily change with still another 12 minutes left in this exciting matchup. But now, like they're saying, someone along the lines of that back line, such as an Isaac Fines Liliwasa, might be able to change it. Churro equals cinnamon flavoured sugar or sugared pork rind. Pork rind, is it? I thought it was like a batter thing rather than... So is there pork in it, or am I just a goose? Is there pork? No. Oh, a little flick out the back from Rodney Iona. Trying to test out the silky skills there. Running it straight sideways now. Andy Muirhead already getting himself a hat-trick. I'll deliver churches to the Super Rugby boys in Perth or Churros to the Super Rugby Boys in Perth. And then I want to pick one team, IPL Hamish, you'll be supporting. I just pick one as random, but I have to see the sides first, I think. It is better of the same consistency. And there's Churros there from Jack, but that one's gone into touch. But yeah, I'll have to look at the squads, but we are going to hopefully be doing the IPL tomorrow night, if not the night after that. So we will be able to work out who we want to go for into those matches as well. But a high tackle there against the Western Force. Number 15 high tackle, so that would be against Jake Strawn for this one. And now, or is it? Who's got the ball here? Okay, no, it is penalty against Jake Strawn there. A little bit of a seatbelt tackle there from Strawn. And also, Jack, I will tell you which city Hamish lives in. Eugene Churros. And is that Quesadillas? It is, isn't it? To his house is Danny, and also no pork and Mumbai Indians. Says Jack there. And also, please do Stormers versus Ulster. Says Bunchroll, trusty Paddy Wagon. So, yeah, that is the earlier game, isn't it? So it's going to be tricky because I know that the IPL overlaps with quite a few Super Rugby games. So maybe the weekend games, we do the 11 p.m. matches for the IPL. And then the next week after that, we do end up doing the games, or during the week, we do the games that start at 3 a.m. and 11 p.m. Might not be a terrible way of doing it, perhaps. Currently now trying to drive their way forward. And when is the IPL? It is actually tomorrow night at 3 a.m. So almost 26 hours or so away. And IPL's long tournament for 2 straight months. Matches will be happening doubleheader. Sometimes if you're able to cover all in there as well. So he's cutting. So yeah, there will be plenty of time to be able to watch plenty of those fixtures. Now going back across, it's going to be Bailey, Quenzel, and also Jack. Are you sure you're 22? Alina Wassa now trying to get his way through. Gives it off to Isaac Rodder. 17 minutes gone in this game. And also we got the 25th of March. And we got Franz M in there as well. Says SpongeBob. So yeah, that's the thing. If I don't end up doing the IPL, it means that I could probably do 2 or 3 games of the URC in a row, perhaps. And only 12 likes. What does everyone do? And hit the like button. And then Mahalbe back though. Or Franz Mahalbe. That is. So yeah, we will have to give a look at those lineups. And also I will have to try and get, I guess, everything organized for it as well. I'm stretching a little bit. There's some more subs taking place. Another big yawn. Red and Gold Rugby pod game of the week right here. And there says John. And yeah, it's certainly a close one. And that's the thing. We've seen some brilliant games, although I feel like maybe the Golden Point game between Moana Pacific and Hurricanes might overtake it just a little bit because it went to Golden Point. But Dwayne is back at home for the weekend. And yeah, says SpongeBob's trusty Paddy Wagon. That is true. Roughly Friday night. And there's says Danny, rough Friday night. Is that for myself? Because if it is, it's not too bad. I follow your France versus England. Says Jack, so I do appreciate it. I agree, says John. Well, that one as well. Currently now, Jeremy Thrushy will be making his way off there. And also, what's the COVID situation, Hamish, in New Zealand? So we're looking at, I think it's over 10,000 cases a day, but it was up to 20,000. But now it's back down. And also, can you show the leaderboard? I can, although I will mention that the Rebels haven't received their points on my leaderboard as of yet, just because I was doing the cricket in between. So the Rebels are actually now sitting themselves up there on 6 points above of the Fijian Drua. So they will be sitting in 9th, Fijian Drua in 10th. And then alongside that, if the Brumbies win this game, they will stay at the top undefeated. If the Western Force win this game, they will actually move themselves more than likely up to 5th, depending on whether or not there is a bonus point around. I don't even know how many tries each team have been able to get for themselves at this point. There's been that many of them. Brumbies, I think they've got about 7. I think the Force have got about 7 as well. How many Muirhead? So that's 6 for the Brumbies. And then alongside that, I believe for the Western Force, we're going to get to see them. So we've had 6 tries so far. Then the penalty try is 7. Godwin's 8. Strawn's 9. Mata Ali got 2. So that's 11 tries in this match. And COVID, or crowd's good. And as I says, Jack, and also I'm back, says Curious George. Welcome back, mate. Hope you're doing well. And currently well, Brumbies, so strong team undefeated. And they're doing very nicely at the top of the bunch and continuing to get themselves normally bonus points, although this game's certainly not going to be the case unless they score just try after try after try right now. Well, Brumbies were usually weak, but I mean, it's only the beginning. But thanks, mate. There's SpongeBob trusty Paddy Wagon there, and hat trick for Andy. He did indeed get 3. And at the moment, They have got Manasa Mataeli not too far away from maybe getting his hat-trick, but Andy Muirhead now drawing pass with Tom Wright, kicks it in behind Jesse Mogg. Going to have to go after that one, but it's taken nicely by Strawn, who was waiting for it. Now gives it off to the number 23, Ralston. So actually no sign of Richard Kahui for this game. Was initially going to be there, and also we've got there, crowds are allowed in all rugby stadiums and concerts, and there they are indeed. Recently passed. That will be the case, but now Rob Valentini having to make that tackle a little bit slow, getting back up to his feet. He's normally an explosive player for the first 50 minutes, but after that does tie 11 tries, says Jack. So yeah, huge number being scored throughout this game. Now going back across here, Kane Kateka. He's going to give you a full 80-minute performance every day of the week, that man. Now going around the side, it finds Aleoasi. Once again, recycling this ball very quickly. Wide cutout pass. Out to Strawn now. He's got space. He puts in the chip. He's been hit hard, and I think it was hit out on the full there for Strawn and Hamish. We have a golf and live commentary. Who knows? Maybe one day. If it is something you guys do want to see, it will be on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel, though, I will mention. If we did end up doing any competitions that we haven't covered in the past, but we might even do our own of video at some stage. Who knows? We've got golf clubs. We've got a golf course nearby. Who knows? Maybe worth a crack. See how we end up going. Probably terribly. Overall, also, I've given up at Western Province losing 11-36 to the Pumas. Done, mate. And there as well. There's SpongeBob for that one. Although the Curry Cup, it is a tricky time at the moment because the sides are split between the URC team and the Curry Cup. So it just tests out that little bit of extra depth, which some sides can struggle with a little bit, but they're still a good side. The Western Province, they just need to get themselves in the top four, and then from there, they'll be decent. And also, we have got there, I've noticed your commentary is a little bit late. And there's this Curious George. One moment. I will click there. Okay, I'm back up to as live as I can be, but it's still about probably 30 or 40 seconds behind what you can see because I am on Sky Go. And George will be drinking beers with the golf. Probably more than likely, yes. He does enjoy a beverage, George. Although, to be fair, if you give him a can of Fanta, he'd love it just as much. Now, passing it back across. Kane Kateka still in the fight. The Western Force. Step on the inside from Godwin. Rob Valentini, I want to make yet again another massive tackle. Fergus Lee Warner, 6 minutes left. 1 point difference between the two sides. Pasatoa short ball into the hands of Andrew Reddy. Getting closer to the try line. Kane Kateka straightens some money. Able to wrestle him down though. Now going quick hands. Pasatoa. It's almost had his pants pulled down by Jerome Brown, but he's still got the ball, and balls are the best. And the Pumas are the only in the Curry Cup. And then also I say thanks for the clarification. No worries at all. I haven't had a Fanta in years. Says Danny Lewis. I haven't had a Fanta in a day. That's all. I'll probably end up having one after this, depending on what I decide to do and how long I do need to stay awake for. And now, once again, 30 meters out. Yeah, blue ball's in there. Says Jack. Passing it back across. It is Fines. Leleoasa around the side. Off now to Godwin. Continuing to build phase after phase. They're up to 11 here for the Western Force. Still about 30 meters out. 5 minutes left on the clock now. And also, Jack, what do you mean? Yeah, they're currently, but all-time no as well. There's a bunch of trusty paddy wagon. That's a little knock on from the Western Force. And now it's going to be the scrum feed for the Brumbies. There we go. Also, well, you can do another stream. And there, as I says Danny, I mean, there's no other matches, though, unfortunately, I don't believe that we have got. I mean, Tajikistan just lost to Uganda. That is one that you would have liked, but probably not. More than likely, I think the next game that is actually happening is about 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. New Zealand time. But by then we will be asleep. But that would be the game between the Sharks and the Scarlets, I believe it is, or the Lions and Scarlets, in fact. Is that one? Yeah, Lions versus Ospreys. Sorry. And that is 6 a.m. Yeah, decent overall. Now currently 75 and a half minutes through. 39-38. Rod Yorna going off the field for Hudson Creighton there. And I was let the man get some rest. And there's us, says Jay. And I was like, have a South African flat, mate, says Jack. And yeah, I guess we have done quite a few hours of live streams, haven't we? We did the hour at the start, an hour at the end. So we're about 7 hours in. And when I write, I was like this. And there says John, and also if your flatmate supports Blue Balls, go test them. And there as well, geez. Fair enough. I guess someone isn't a fan of the Bulls at this stage, but now feeding the ball in for Ryan Lonergan. 4 minutes left. Passes it off to the side, and Jesse Mogg kicks it downfield out of the half now, and they have now got a dangerous Manasa Mataele runner straight at them, breaking tackles as well. Getting closer, Hamish, what is your all-time record for the stream in hours? I mean, we've had streams that have gone for 8 hours before, but I think in about a 48-hour period, I did about 35 hours of live streams. Something along those lines. And only slept for a little bit of time, which was a mistake because I was absolutely shattered by the end of it. Took about 3 days of sleeping to catch up with where I was. Manasa Mataele now once again driving his way forward. I think Jerome Brown may have really hurt his shoulder there by the looks of him, which is why he would go short side if Finez Eliawasa did see it. And also here we go there. Who are the Sharks playing? The Sharks, I believe they've got Edinburgh for their game. And Aussie Bulls are the sworn enemies of the Stormers in 4 minutes, says Jack. Yeah, now down to 3 minutes left in this matchup on the halfway line currently for the Western Force. Can they hand the first defeat to the Brumbies, trying to get straight on the ball? Unable to. Yeah, for the number 18, Pasatoa. Now trying to break through the tackle of Rob Valentini. This has been a shift. It's a penalty to the Brumbies. Okay. What do you do here? And that's nothing. I got 2,400 in Warzone in there as well. 2,400 in Warzone. What? as in stream or as in like hours of playing, I assume that isn't. Check the score and time is on the stream. We can all see it. And then how's the South African Super Rugby team? I mean, I guess we're going back to the URC now, saying as we are missing out on getting to see them in Super Rugby again. I think it's between probably the Bulls and the Sharks as the two Super Rugby / URC top teams at the moment, although it doesn't actually represent that on the table, I don't think, for the URC. But it's kicked for the touchline here for the Brumbies. 2 minutes left now, and it is going to be, sitting here with 23 Stormers where, although they have never won a Super Rugby, we had the best team in there. Although I guess it is that case as well of titles do speak wonders, I guess, for a side, but they have had some very good players over the years, the Stormers, and ours are playing. And there's his SpongeBob's. Now it is going to be going back across to the hands of Rory Scott and also come on the Brumbies. And if you did a stream 24 hours straight, if you were in a row, I'll donate some funds to support you. That would be impressive. And there says Danny Lewis. Although I guess it's one of those ones that, like, unless like you guys want to see me sleeping, which I feel like would be a bit strange. Also, we have got there for real, the showmate. And there as well says Tirana Marie, welcome in. Oh, sorry, you have already been here, haven't you? But hopefully I do. Do I pronounce your name correctly? Hopefully I've got it right. Come on, Brumbies, currently only a minute left to play here. And the Brumbies getting closer and closer to the line now. Rob Valentini doesn't look like he's in any hurry. In fact, the Brumbies don't look to be in any hurry here. Be able to try and get themselves maybe one more try if they score and convert. That will take away the bonus point from the Force, and they will leave this game with absolutely nothing, which seems brutal with the amount of work that they have put in. It's a penalty to the Western Force. They might leave with just a little bit more than nothing here. Depending on how far up the field they make it. And also we have got there, what do you mean? I mean, Bulls are 8th, Stormers 7th, and Sharks 6th. And there as well. So, I mean, I guess you could look at the current form overall, but then you can also look at the recent history type thing as well. Like the Bulls, they made it to the final of the it was the final of the Rainbow Cup, didn't they? They just miss out, but Sharks had 4 former Stormers players. And there says SpongeBob, also no, says John, for that one as well. Currently now, the Western Force, they have kicked this one for the touchline. Looks like Isaac Rodder was relatively injured, but he looks like he's still going to be going for it. Just a little bit longer. Andrew Reddy, important line-out throw. We're up to 80 minutes. If this ball goes out, then that will be the end of this game. I can't see your face. And there says Danny Lewis for that one. So I guess that's if I did end up sleeping. Stolen by the Brumbies. It goes into touch. And this 1-point thriller finish. Just 39 points to the Brumbies. 38 to the Western Force. For the last 20 minutes, we didn't see a single point scored between the two sides. But what a game of rugby it was. I hear you must be the country internet. And there says Danny Lewis. I was like, yes, in there. And it's a hard question, says Jack. And also Crusaders will support the Brumbies. And there as well. No, my Bulls got demolished by Benetton. And there as well, at least they made the final. Sorry, that's quite harsh, isn't it? And also, we have got that. That was awesome, says John. Oh, that one. And yeah, they've done very nicely there. 39 points to the Brumbies, 38 to the Western Force. So they will now keep their undefeated streak alive here for the Brumbies. They thought they were going to go get a free trophy. And there, as I says, SpongeBob, Trusty, Betty Wagon, all fixed. That was strange in there, says Danny Lewis. But yeah, the full-time score. Geez, it was a good game. 77 points we got to see between the two sides. And no one really gave up right till the final whistle when that ball did end up just drifting into touch. I think there's a lot of mutual respect there between Tony Pulu and also Rob Valentini. Unfortunately, Tony Pulu did actually get taken off the field a lot earlier on than he would have liked to. Well, so I don't know also they're bloody and they're well done Brumbies. And there's says Masagwa. Yeah, very close game. They had a 20 points to 3 lead. Then from there, the Western Force got 3 tries back to back to back. The rear card of Tom Banks changed this game for the middle section of it. And then after that, we went back to the Brumbies being on a roll. Mate Ali getting 2 tries, one of the honourable mentions for this match. It sounds weird to say that a man who scores 2 tries is an honourable mention, but Andy Muirhead, 3 tries for himself. Go for a McDonald's run, well deserved. It's a bit late. It's currently 1:52 and it's half an hour away, so I might just cook something. Is that a Valentini in good form? Says John, and also when they play Benetton again, I hope it happens once more. And then also Rodder has been a nice surprise, says John. Yeah, he's been impressive in the last little while for Isaac Rodder. Like him and Jeremy Thrush are very good at being able to steal that ball in a line out, and that is something that is so crucial. Yet in the end, it was the Brumbies who were able to steal the line out. The form of, I believe, it would have been Nick Frost was able to intercept that one. But nonetheless, I think that is going to be the end of this live stream. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're going to be back tomorrow with plenty more Super Rugby on the channel. And Oza Vanaka says, Tirana Marie. And yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. Hugely appreciate it. And surely it's open at 2 a.m. And then says Danny Lewis. The thing is, I don't even know if it is. Like, because we're from a relatively small town, the one up the road, I don't even think is a 24-hour McDonald's. Moment. Yeah, it's closed. It opens at 5 a.m. So there we go. And also we have the wait, is it top 6 or top 5 qualified for Heineken and Gallagher Cup? I think it is the top 4, and then the next 4. Or in fact, no, it might actually be top 8, if I'm not wrong. Also, how much thoughts on the world rankings change? I think it's well deserved for France. They did play a very good end of year tour, and also now they're continuing that form in the Six Nations, so they do deserve to be in second. I have a feeling at the moment, and it just kind of will end up, I guess, motivating the All Blacks a little bit more now that they aren't really favourites in Pool A going through to the World Cup. And AB's a third, and then New Zealand third, says Jack there as well. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, be sure to check out the Kiwi Lad Sport. It is the pinned comment up in the chat. Be sure to check it out. Are we still first somehow? And there, as I said, SpongeBob, Trusty, Betty Wing, you guys are indeed. The Springboks have got a nice little lead over everyone else. And also we've got the Can I, as on there says Jack. Can I? Okay, I'm waiting for the next part of this one. So I feel like I won't go just yet because I feel like I'm halfway through that question, aren't I? Tom Banks, Frost as well. When is the next time you are on YouTube? And there says Jack. So the next time that we will be live is 4:30 tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. And that will be the matchup taking place between the Blues and the Highlanders. Then the game after that, we have got the Crusaders versus Chiefs, followed by the Reds versus Waratahs, followed by probably the URC. And what happened to the Hurricanes, man? It was a close game. In the end, Moana Pacifica, they just dug that little bit deeper. And the Hurricanes did turn down a lot of 3-point opportunities. Rather than going for them, they went for the corner, and it did backfire in the end for them. And Moana Pacifica did pick up their first win for that one. And also Kiwi Lads channel. And there says Jake as well. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. Thanks again. I wish to get some rest, says John. I do plan to, although first I've got some editing and whatnot. And when are you? So it will be tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. Is when we are back up. And we'll have the live chat going. Which game surprised you the most today? Probably Moana Pacifica Hurricanes, followed by this game with the fact that it was such a high-scoring first half. But yeah, Moana Pacifica winning. They weren't supposed to, which I think makes it that much more special for them as well. Also, but thanks for the commentator. As on there says Bunch Trusty Betty Wagon and Moana, and there says John for that one as well. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all tomorrow with plenty more rugby on the Kiwi Lads channel.